So, you want to play emulated games and you'd like to use Retroarch so that everything's all included into one big fat program. The problem is you've probably downloaded Retroarch and you have no idea what you're doing and everything looks confusing. Well, that's what this video is for, and hopefully I'll be able to speed you through how to get all of this working. First and foremost, download the installer, not the regular self-contained download. The installer puts everything into a nice happy start menu program here for you so that it's always in the same place. Anytime you need to update Retroarch, you just download the new installer and install it, and everything's in the exact same place. Keeps things simple. If you don't know whether or not you have a 62-bit or 32-bit computer, click the little gear icon under your start menu. Under the search bar here, type About, click About Your PC, and it will show you right here under System Type. As you can see, mine is 64-bit. If yours is 32-bit, it'll tell you it's 32-bit. So, there you go. I've already gone ahead and downloaded it and installed it, so I'm going to boot it up over here. And we'll move it there. Hey, welcome to Retroarch. I don't see how. I don't see how it could be recognizing my DualShock controller. I don't even have my controller plugged in right now. So that's weird. Anyway, this is the screen you're going to see now in Retroarch. It's not the screen that you've probably seen in the past, so definitely update to the latest version, because 1.8.5 gives you this by default. It's a little bit nicer. There's another interface if you press F5. This is the desktop version, and I don't like the desktop version. I really don't. First of all, view settings. Dear God, kill me. I hate this. Dark. Thank you. Oh, that's so much better. Sorry, that was going to drive me nuts. So, you basically see all the same stuff you have over here, right here in this desktop version. The file browser is a little bit cleaner, but this interface, honestly, is perfectly serviceable. So, let's get started. Let's actually play a game, all right? Retroarch is a platform for lots of emulators. It's a single interface to every emulator possible. So in order to play ROMs, you need to go and get the emulator. They're not all just installed by default. You've actually got to go and get them. So say I want to do Nintendo. I want to play Super Mario Brothers. You know, why not? That's a classic. First, you'll need to load what's known as a core. Retroarch calls its emulators cores. Download a core, fetching core list, and here we've got NES Famicom. Yep, that's the name of the system. The problem is there are 5 cores, or 5 emulators, if you will. 5 different cores, and I don't know which one to choose. So here's what I tend to do. Here's what I do for when I don't know which core to pick from. As I type in emulation wiki into my search engine of choice, it's usually the first result. The emulation general wiki, emulation.gametechwiki.com, blah blah blah. It gives you a long list of all the different consoles and computers that are known to be emulated. So let's click on the NES Famicom. It lists all of them out, tells you which one of these have Retroarch cores. It says LibRetro. LibRetro and Retroarch are the same thing, as far as you need to be concerned. But I always scroll down to the comparisons list, and this is where they give sales pitches for which emulators are good and which emulators are bad. Messin is, if you read here, is probably the one with the most accuracy. It's probably the best one. I'm sold on Messin. That's probably the good one. So if I come over here and look, sure enough, there's Messin. That's the emulator of choice that I want. Whoops, wrong button. I also want to play a Super Nintendo game, and I figure while we're in here, I might as well dive into this little bit of a conundrum. There's a lot of Super Nintendo emulators here, so which one is the best one? Once again, let's go to the wiki and take a look here If you look at the comparisons, Hygan or BSNES is the best one, and Retroarch says there's one for BSNES. So that's probably the one you want. And problem is, there's a lot of BSNES ones. Which one do you grab? People are naming things funny. This is an unfortunate downside to using Retroarch, is that everybody's got their particular version of an emulator that they think is best. And there are so many different versions of BSNES that have been pushed into the Retroarch main repository that this is just annoying. So generally speaking, if it's got like upgraded, like, oh, this is the here's a great example, is the Nintendo 64 ones. We have M64 Plus Next and M64 Plus Next GLES3. In the case of N64, I would probably pick this one because this looks like MuPen 64 Plus with even more stuff, is what that sounds like to me. But in the case of BSNES, this looks like they took BSNES and made a whole bunch of alternative versions of it, and I don't know what any of them mean or what any of them are, and I really don't feel like doing a whole bunch of research. So in the case of Super Nintendo, I'll just take the base BSNES one. So that is that. And by the way, if you want to go back, you can right-click or hit the backspace key. So we have 2 emulators installed in Retroarch. Now let's actually load a game. Okay, I've gone to my ROMs directory, and I think I want to play Super Mario Brothers, right? This is for NES. So if I type S, it brings up a search box, and I can search for it. Super Mario. Awesome. Super Mario Brothers World. Since it's zipped up in a zip file, I'm not going to browse the archive. I'm going to load the archive. Boom. And there we have it. The enter key is start, and my arrow keys are to move. Seems to be working. Gotta tell you, playing on a keyboard is awkward, though. Press F1 to get the main menu back again. There's a couple of changes I would like to make for this. So first of all, let's put everything into full screen. Press F for full screen. And immediately, you'll notice a problem with the game. Notice anything? What's this black box here? Why can't I go beyond this black box? Why are there black boxes on the left and the right of the screen? The reason for that is because, well, this is an older game. It wasn't designed for widescreens. You have a couple of options. One is the on-screen overlay. If you go here and you go to overlay preset, borders, you've got a couple different ones in here. Play around with them, see which one looks good. This one might not be half bad. Let's resume. Hey, kind of looks like Nintendo. That's one way of getting around the problem. For me personally, I don't like overlays. I would much rather just stretch it to widescreen. Yes, it means the pixels get a little bit stretched, but it's what I like. 16:9 aspect ratio is what you're looking for. This was under just options for this core. Aspect ratio 16:9. And now everything's nice and stretched out. Hey, no more black bars. Mario is free. Something else you might be rather annoyed with is the fact that I'm playing this on a keyboard. Playing on a keyboard is annoying. In Windows, now you're going to want to come over here, down to notifications and click the Bluetooth icon. I've already got it connected, but if you click it, yeah, that's great. Clicking it, all right, Bluetooth is now turned on, and if you right-click it and go to Settings, here we have Bluetooth, all the different things that you have. You want to add a Bluetooth device. you've probably bound your Xbox controller or your PS4 controller to your PC before, and you may need extra drivers or something like that. Honestly, for Retroarch, I needed nothing. I have 2 PlayStation 4 controllers. I'm going to grab one now. I've already paired it, and I've already connected it before, so all I'm going to do is press the PlayStation button. It's connected. Retroarch now recognizes that my controller is connected. Let's put everything back in full screen again. And, whoops. And I'm playing on my controller now. But I've got another problem. This is a PlayStation 4 controller. This is the A button for this NES game, and this is the B button. I don't like that. I would rather this be the A button and this be the B button. It just feels more comfortable in my hands. You can change that very easily. You open up your menu. Whoops. You open up your menu and you go down to Controls. Pretty straightforward. Now, you can see where these buttons here on the left represent where they are on your controller, and this binding on the right represents what you want that button on your controller bound to emulate on the other controller. I know that made no sense. So, right now, this button, this button here on my controller is bound to the B button on the NES controller. And this button here on the left side is bound to Turbo B on the NES controller. Some NES controllers had turbo buttons. D-pad. You know, we had D-pad, and this button here on the right of my controller is bound to A, blah, blah, blah. So I want to change that. So if you press left and right, you'll be able to change the binding. And I want this to be the A button, and I'll have that be the B button. Come over here, and I'll make that Turbo A, and I'll make this one Turbo B. There we go. I've got 3 choices now of how to save this. I can just leave it alone and go back to playing the game, but the next time I boot the game up, this controller remapping is not going to be saved. So I've got a couple choices. I can save it on a per-game basis. In the case of Nintendo, this really isn't necessary to save it on a per-game basis. For other games that have a lot more buttons, maybe it makes more sense. But I don't want to do that for this. I can save, don't worry about save content directory remap file. This means you save it for that entire directory. Maybe you've got several directories of Nintendo games. You probably don't. You probably only have just one directory for everything. That's a high level of customization that most people are probably never going to use. But this saves it for the entire emulator, or core. Remember, RetroArch's word for emulator is core. So I'm going to save it for the entire core so that any Nintendo game I boot up will have those button bindings. And there we go. It's working. This is the turbo button. Here's the turbo B button, regular button, B button. And all seems to be in order. So, you get the idea. If you want to close out a program, of course, close content. Your initial instinct is probably going to be to press escape. If you press escape, you get this little notification. You don't want to quit out of RetroArch completely. You just wanted to quit out of the game. Now, let's do Super Nintendo. And here we are in the Super Nintendo ROMs folder. I think I'll do Super Castlevania. Huh. once again, it's got that letterboxing going on. It's got those black bars on the side. Remember how we fixed that before? You go to options, and you go to aspect ratio, and hey, 16:3 isn't available. What's going on here? Not every emulator is going to have its own built-in aspect ratio changer. So in cases like this, you'll need to change it at the base Retroarch level. Right now, we're in what's known as the quick menu. So we're going to come out of that, go to settings, video, scaling, aspect ratio, and 16:9. And as you can already tell, we're back in the game. And it's fully stretched out the way we like it. Seems to be working. Sorry, the opening for this game is just so awesome. I had to play through it long enough just to get you to get all pumped. Yeah, Castlevania. So I'm not gonna play the rest of the game here, but you get the idea. That's how everything works. So. Sometimes you'll wind up in another menu. Hold on, let me come back in that. Every single game that you play will show up here in the history. There's a playlist already created for history. So every game I've already played already has shown up here. I'll run this one more time just to illustrate one last point for you all. The game is running, and right now I'm in what's known as quick menu. You can always access the quick menu by going to main menu, and it's right there. Quick menu only shows up while you've chosen to run a game. So because I've chosen to run Castlevania, there's my quick menu. But if I didn't have Castlevania or any other game running, the first thing you'd see on here is load core, right? So that's how you get back to the quick menu again, so that you can change more stuff. I'm going to close the content out. Okay. So, I got a few more things I'd like to show you. First of all, how do you make... first of all, we have playlists here for net play, video, music, image. What is all this crap? I don't like it. I always change this. I always get rid of it. User interface, views, and you can get rid of them. Don't need net play, video, music, nor images. Yay. Okay, now it doesn't show up immediately because we need to restart Retroarch, but thankfully they have a nice handy reset button. And there we go. All those excess playlist things are gone. So, over here in the import content list, we can scan directories, and we can scan files, and whatever this manual scan is. All right, now let me break this down for you. Scan directory will scan a directory and match and create a playlist of games for you only if the ROMs in that directory match their database. So the names have to be perfect. This is annoying. So instead, I'm going to do a manual scan. Content directory. And I'm going to choose the GameCube in this instance. I have just a small collection of GameCube stuff, so I'm going to tell it to scan that directory. System name, Nintendo GameCube, and that's it. I don't have a core to specify for this playlist, but that's all I got. Start scan, done, and sure enough, there's a brand new playlist here. We got a couple extra things in here that I don't need in this playlist, like that stuff. That can go away. But there's my list of games that was in that directory. There were very few files in there. So something else that this application allows you to do is get thumbnails. That might not come back with anything, but I know this will. Haha. Gauntlet Dark Legacy? Maybe? How about Geist? Yep, Geist works. So yes, you have to painstakingly do this for each and every single game. It's a little annoying, but if your game titles are already matched with Retroarch's database, you shouldn't have a problem. So that's how to make playlists. That's how to get thumbnails. This last little helpful hint I'm going to give you is how to make Retroarch look a little better. Let's go to Settings, Drivers, Menu, and we're going to switch it to XMB. This is a different menu style. Ozone is what it comes with by default. That's the menu we're looking at right now. GLUI is for smartphones. Don't do it. We're on a computer. There's no need for that. RGUI is an extremely low-res, basic computer kind of interface. Really no sense in doing that here. We've got a nice, fast, powerful computer, so let's go with something fancy, and that's what XMB is all about. Main menu, restart. Ah, looking pretty now. And sure enough, there's my playlist right there. This looks a lot like Sony, doesn't it? Looks a lot like any Sony product you have. Maybe it's a PlayStation or a Blu-ray player or a TV that you have. So there's actually even further options for this. User interface, appearance. You can change the icons. So they can all look different. Personally, I like this icon set. Menu shader pipeline. Pressing left and right, you get different kind of background animations. Simple snow. I like this, personally. Menu color theme. You know me. Dark mode all the way. Left thumbnails. Hey, if there are any, sure. I want them to be either screenshots, title screens. Screenshots is fine. Right. That's all I got for appearance. I got one last thing I can do for you guys. Audio. Menu sounds. Turn all of these on. And let's restart. You hear that music? Give it a second. It comes in real soft. So now we have Retroarch music playing. Going into menus has clickety sounds. Notifications will also have sounds. Not that one, of course, but this is how you get Retroarch looking really snazzy. Again, you can scan directories and get your games in that way. You now know how to load a core. You now know how to download new cores for game systems that you just got or that you want to try playing on, that you have ROMs for. You now know how to change video settings. You now know how to rebind controller settings. There's a lot that this emulator can do, but that should hopefully explain the interface and explain where you're trying to go and what it is that you're trying to do. So, I'm sorry this video was so long, but that's literally everything. You're done. That's all there is to it. And just for fun, I want to show you what my personal Retroarch configuration looks like. This is what my Retroarch system looks like. Look at all these games. All these game systems that we have here. Isn't this crazy? So this, you've probably noticed this screen in one of my Let's Plays or something. So now you know. So that's everything. I've got nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to show you. That's Retroarch. That's how to use Retroarch. If you're looking for something a bit more advanced, like, for example, how to get PlayStation games working or how to get Dreamcast games working, I'll show you a couple tricks and things like that. But most of these games you can get working just by sticking a ROM in there and plugging it into a core, and off you go. So that's it. Have fun. Enjoy all your games, guys.